ক্লোজ ধৰি আছোঁ তো খবৰত থাক এই না মিনিষ্টাৰ আহিলে মই ধৰিম দে খবৰত থাক মাষ্টাৰ হয়
Our esteemed Chief Minister, Dr. Esteemed, Honorable External Affairs Minister, Government of India, and Dr. Brahmaputra Hall, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, to kindly come forward and take the seats on the dais, please. We are honored to have with us today Shri Honorable Minister and Esteemed Government of Assam, Shri Honorable Minister of State External Affairs, Government of India, Shri Honorable Secretary, East Ministry of External Affairs, His Excellency Mr. Kecho Ono, Ambassador of Japan to India, His Excellency Major General Vetsa Namde, Ambassador of Bhutan to India, His Excellency Mr. Simon Wong, High Commissioner of the Republic of Singapore, His Excellency Mr. Michael Delphin, Ambassador of the European Union to India, Mr. Harshvardhan Agarwal, President FICCI, Professor Sachin Chaturvedi, Director RISDC, and Dr. Harshvardhan, Vice President Observer Research Foundation, who will be the moderator for this session as well. I would request you all to kindly take your seats on the dais, please. Thank you. I will now request all present to kindly rise for the state anthem.
State anthem. State anthem. Itu যাব লাগিব
Namaskar. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Government of Assam, I would like to extend a warm welcome to you all to the Act East, Act Fast and Act First session of Assam 2.0 Investment and Infrastructure Summit 2025. We would now like to felicitate our esteemed guests on the dais. First, I would request the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, to kindly felicitate our esteemed Chief Guest, Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable External Affairs Minister, Government of India. Now request Shri Honorable Minister, to kindly felicitate Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma. Now, on behalf of the organizers, we would like to felicitate the rest of the esteemed dignitaries on the dais.
Is it? Camera ambience of college on the আরে গোটেই দেখোন বন্ধ হৈ যাব মোৰ কেবল লাইন নহয় আচ্ছা দুটাত আছে কেবল দুটাত কেবল আছে 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 এইবিলাক চব
Thank you so much.
এইবিলাক চব কেবুলতে আছে
I will now hand over the session to Dr. Harsh Deepka, Vice President, Observer Research Foundation,
Una camera select
for
karo na,
this
ho
session to kindly commence the proceedings, please.
2-3 সিলেক্ট করে
Honorable External Affairs Minister, Dr.
জি
Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Shri Brahmaputra Hall, His Excellency Braun, His Excellency Rafan, His Excellency Nandyal, Excellencies,
Aman, Aman.
fellow panelists, ladies and gentlemen, it's wonderful to have you all this evening for a very special session of the Brahmaputra Assam Summit. And we really are entitled Act East, Act Fast, Act First. And as you can see on this stage, with the presence of some of the heavyweights, this is correctly, and this has the potential to be one of the most interesting panels of the day that you have participated
মই গৈ আছো
in.
সিলেক্ট কৰি দি আছো ৰ'ব মই গৈ আছো
As we celebrate the incredibly transformative journey of Assam over the last few years, this has been a moment to reflect and assess its future trajectory. That's the aim of this summit, one that will be reflected through the day. But this session aims to look beyond. To an Assam that will not only lead and shape the way towards Viksit Bharat 2047, but also emerge as a key node in reconfiguring India's regional and global aspirations. The shift from the Look East policy of the 1990s to a more dynamic, proactive Act East policy of the last decade has ushered in a new era of partnerships with our neighbors of East and Southeast Asia. The centrality of Assam and the wider Northeast region is being harnessed to build stronger and more robust partnerships. As Assam develops further and Northeast becomes even more economically dynamic, India's ties with our East and Southeast Asian partners are only like to get strengthened. It is to discuss these partnerships, as you can see with the presence of several heads of missions on the dais, the centrality of Assam and the Northeast India's Act East, as well as the challenges that still confront us on the trade, economic and strategic realms. It is to that we will focus during this, that we will come to during the panel discussion in this session. But let me first invite the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, under whose dynamic leadership Assam has been making giant leaps to deliver his opening remarks and to set the context for the conversation to follow. Honorable Chief Minister.
Honorable Union Minister for External Affairs, Dr. S. Jaishankar, Sri Pavitra Madhurika, Honorable Minister of State, External Affairs, His Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners on the dais, off the dais, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are celebrating Assam's success and also celebrating Assam's future. But Assam's future is also linked with the India's future because we want to be one of the leading states in our republic. We do not want to be a dependent state. We want to be a contributory state for the development in the development journey of our country. We want to grow so that we can positively contribute towards the growth of our country. So far in last 75 years, we remain dependent because of several reasons. But now, since 2014, things have changed. Now we can dream big and we will dream big. Today's Advantage Assam 2.0 symbolize our determination. Today morning we have been blessed by the presence of Honorable Prime Minister. We have witnessed his extraordinary commitment for the development of Assam, for the development of Northeast. When, as a Prime Minister of India, he start encouraging leaders of our country to invest in our state. It reflects how much for the development of this region. Honorable Prime Minister always encourages us to engage with various countries and various missions so that we can immensely benefited by economic cooperation. For the first time in the history of Assam, the nation's External Affairs Minister has led such a strong delegation to the investment summit of a state. This is indeed a huge recognition for the state of Assam. Dr. Jaishankar, who is a friend of Assam, he has taken time out of his busy schedule and he has personally led this delegation. This is a great honor for the people of Assam and we will always cherish this moment in our journey for the development. মই অসমৰ মুখ্যমন্ত্ৰী হিচাপে ডক্টৰ জয়শংকৰ ডাঙৰীয়াক বহুত কৃতজ্ঞতা জনাইছোঁ। স্বাধীনতাৰ ৭৫ বছৰ পিছত অসমে কেতিয়াও বিগত বছৰসমূহত এনেকুৱা সুন্দৰ আৰু সোণোৱালী দিন দেখা নাছিল, যিটো দিনত ভাৰতৰ বৈদেশিক পৰিক্ৰমা দপ্তৰৰ মন্ত্ৰীগৰাকীয়ে নিজে লগত ৬২খন ৰাষ্ট্ৰৰ ৰাষ্ট্ৰদূত আৰু উচ্চায়ুক্তক লৈ ৩ দিনকৈ অসমলৈ ভ্ৰমণ কৰিবলৈ আহে। এয়া এক অদ্ভুত দৃশ্য। এয়া এক ভৱিষ্যতৰ সোণোৱালী সপোন বাস্তৱত ৰূপায়ণ কৰাৰ এক নতুন দিনৰ সপোন বাস্তৱত ৰূপায়ণ হোৱাৰ সংকল্প। মই কৃতজ্ঞ অসমবাসীৰ হৈ প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰী নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী ডাঙৰীয়া আৰু বৈদেশিক পৰিক্ৰমা মন্ত্ৰী ডক্টৰ এছ জয়শংকৰ ডাঙৰীয়াক আকৌ এবাৰ কৃতজ্ঞতা জনাইছোঁ, অভিনন্দন জনাইছোঁ। On behalf of the people of Assam, I would like to welcome the Excellency's Ambassador and Head of Missions for taking out of your busy schedule and visit us during the Advantage Assam Summit period. I have had the opportunity of interacting with few of ambassadors and high commissioners during this period, and I am sure those discussions will take us further, and we will continue to have the bilateral discussion as per the advice of our External Affairs Minister. We will carry forward our discussion. Once again, I'd like to welcome all of you. Today is a this session, Act Fast and Act Fast, is a very important session. We will all listen to the address which will be soon delivered by Dr. Jaishankar. Once again, I'd like to welcome all of you, and I am sure that this will be momentous occasion in our history. My only dream is to see that Assam become a contributory state in India's growth journey. We should not go with a begging bowl to Delhi. We should give back to India, and we will together develop India, a Viksit Bharat, a Viksit Assam by 2047. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.
Thank you very much. Just set the context for the conversation. I hope you can. Okay, now. Thank you so much, Honorable Chief Minister, for your remarks. I have now excellent group with me to discuss the topic before I invite Shankar for his keynote address. I have with me 4
Mr. Chandra from RIS, the Director General, who will be talking and who will be discussing some of the opportunities that exist in India's partnerships with its neighbors, as well as what else can be done to enhance its engagement, both with regard to Assam and the Northeast, but also broadly as India's Act-East policy concludes and moves into its second decade of operationalization. And let me invite Dr. Simon Wong, High Commissioner of Singapore, for his initial remarks. And given that Singapore and Assam have had a long-standing relationship, and there are some ongoing projects as well as opportunities in new areas like skilling, semiconductors, and export promotion that Excellency would like to talk about. Please over to you.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I would like to thank, on behalf of our diplomatic colleagues, to Dr. Jayashankar and also Minister Pramita for being the head of the family of foreign relationship and inviting all of us to the great state of Assam. Can I ask my diplomatic colleague to raise their hands? Sir, we are here to support not only ME and their great effort for the diplomatic corps to visit Assam, we are also here to lend support to our hyper-energetic Chief Minister of Assam. On the part of Singapore, why do we choose to look east, look fast and act fast? The reason is very simple. While we are one of the largest investors in India, since 1991, we have been the top investor of India since year 2000. Cumulatively, Singapore has invested 165 billion US dollars in India. But those investments have traditionally landed in 5 states in India. Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji visited Singapore, and in his discussion with my Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, we decided to upgrade the relationship between India and Singapore to a comprehensive strategic partnership. And both Prime Ministers gave us a task. Please look beyond the 5 states and please look beyond the traditional pillars of growth. And the Honorable Minister Dr. Jayashankar and his Singapore counterpart, Dr. William Balakrishnan, are tasked with looking at these new areas, the 5 pillars, and perhaps 3 to 5 new states. To put in perspective, following the discussions that we have had between the 2 ministers, formation of India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable was set up. 6 ministers from Singapore and 4 ministers from the Indian side are tasked to look at new areas of growth. And I am honored and very, very happy to announce to our Assamese colleagues here that we have identified Assam as one new key area of growth. Sir, Honorable Chief Minister, we have known you since 2022. It is not long in length of relationship, but we feel very, very at home with you. And I don't speak for myself as a diplomat, I speak on behalf of my Singapore businesses who have worked directly with you. The thing that they want me to say to you is that they really find single window 100% effective in Assam because you have always taken time to speak to them, you have always listened to their challenges, and you have always helped them to succeed in Assam, big or small companies. So I have 16-member business delegation with me in these 2 days of discussions that they have had during Advantage Assam. Many of them have found their partners, and many of them have found new investment projects to do in Assam. And they all have one thing to say to me: it is very difficult to catch up with Honorable Chief Minister because you're running at bullet time. It feels that we are running at bullet card speed. I have to catch up with you. And sometimes it's very embarrassing. Your new ideas, we have not thought about, and I say, damn, why didn't I think about it? So I just want to use this opportunity to tell the audience, both diplomatic audience who are still considering Assam, and our Assamese businesses here, and many of our foreign businesses who are also here in the audience. To quote Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji, A is for Assam, so it's the first choice. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, for rooting and cheering Assam, and for making sure that others also do that. Let me bring in His Excellency Delphin, Ambassador of European Union to India, and I know he has to leave early, so I would want to give him the floor to talk about European Union's strategic interest and engagement in the Northeast region and Assam.
Thank you very much. It's okay?
Yes.
No, first of all, really warm congratulations and big thanks to Chief Minister of Assam for this fantastic evening and this wonderful show of support from the diplomatic community, from the business community. And I'm glad that the EU family has joined forces with many of my colleagues from European member states who are here today. What I can say is that the geography, the economic geography and the political geography of Europe and India align very much. We have done our pivot to the east a long time ago. When you look at all the equities that the EU has in terms of trade, foreign direct investment, ODA, and other investments that we do in ASEAN region in the east. We have signed FTAs with countries of ASEAN, with Japan. We have relaunched with Malaysia, and we are in the midst of negotiating one with India. So when we are described as the West, we are very much looking towards the East. Actually, the EU collectively is the largest trading bloc and partner of India in goods. We are one of the largest also investor in India, in FDI. And I think that what we are seeing here in Assam, you're just at the crossroad. You are just the gateway between India and this other geography that matters very much to the EU. And that also explains why the EU has been investing in Northeast for some years and for some time. So I'm glad that over time we have been able to support through central schemes and activities, support smart cities, Cities 2 program, Guwahati, and other cities of the Northeast. We have been able also to develop different activities in the field of management of river basins like the Brahmaputra. We are also mobilizing the so-called Global Gateway, which is a smart funding for sustainable investment and infrastructure. In India, we have put 9 billion euros. And clearly, the question of connectivity is central in this part of India. And this is certainly one area where we want to continue to invest. I think there are many examples of synergies that we can develop. Had the opportunity to discuss with the Chief Minister. We also see the importance of mobilizing private investment in high-value sectors in the Northeast. You have the chance of being endowed with two great advantages: people and natural resources. And this is where we can tap into these two advantages, and I think that we would like to really help mobilize private investment in favor of these high-value chains and products that you want to develop. And the second element is indeed, what can we do to foster connectivity in Assam and the Northeast? So we've been with you as a reliable partners, and we will remain so. And it's not only looking east. The EU is walking east, is traveling east, and while Ambassador Wong has been the finest diplomat in his comment, I will be the not so fine diplomat, because I will have to leave this stage for a very good reason. The European Commission, led by President von der Leyen, is coming in 2 days to Delhi for a first visit of the EU Commission as a whole, and I have to travel tonight back to Delhi to ensure the finalization of everything so that I can receive them. So my apologies if I have to leave the stage to catch a plane, but I wanted really to be there because we discussed, Chief Minister, I made a promise to come. I'm maybe now in a conflict of loyalty between you and my boss in Brussels, but I will definitely underline this aspect of we are traveling east, and northeast is an important element, and I'm sure it will feature in our conversation.
Thank you very much, Excellency. And now let me invite Ambassador of Bhutan to India, His Excellency Major General Wetsop Namgyal, for his comments on Bhutan-India relationship and the benefits from Act East policy that he foresees, given Bhutan has been one of India's closest partners in the region and beyond. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening and namaskar. For us in Bhutan, India is our closest friend and neighbor, and our most generous development partner, with whom we have a very special and close relationship that is based on genuine friendship and trust. And Assam is a very important immediate neighboring state for Bhutan, with age-old friendly relations between our two peoples. So it is a great honor and pleasure for me to be here for Advantage Assam 2.0 and take part in this session. As a contiguous landlocked neighbor to the northeast states of India, Bhutan was encouraged when we heard of the Look East policy and the proposal of building the India-Myanmar-Thailand trilateral highway. With the Asian highway proposal yet to materialize fully, we saw an early possibility of land connectivity for Bhutan through India to Southeast Asia. At the same time, besides land connectivity to Bangladesh, the government of India and the government of Assam allowed us to use the inland waterway through Dhubri. And very recently, the inauguration of the inland waterways terminal at Jogighopa has given Bhutan access for maritime commerce with Assam and Bangladesh. Thank you, Government of India. Thank you, Government of Assam. In another area of connectivity, Bhutan was able to establish air link with Assam and Singapore via the international airport in Guwahati. Meanwhile, the impetus given to the Look East policy by Prime Minister Modi ji by designating it as the Act East policy has resulted in more focus and attention in its implementation. Infrastructure development in Assam and the northeast states has accelerated. Bhutan and Bangladesh have established consulate general offices in Guwahati. Besides Druk Air, Thai Air Asia has flights to Guwahati. I'm very happy that my colleagues, the Ambassador of Japan and the European Union and the High Commissioner of Singapore are participating in this session. As the first industrialized country in Asia and the only Asian member of the G7, Japan's engagement in Assam and the Northeast states provides important encouragement for the successful implementation of the Act East policy. With the highest per capita income in the world, its renowned work culture, and as the dynamic member of ASEAN, Singapore's engagement in the Act East policy will contribute to its success. At the same time, support and encouragement from Europe will provide a favorable westerly wind behind the sails of the Act East policy ship. Political commitment and good connectivity are the main keys for successfully implementing the Act East policy. I believe political commitment will be forthcoming from the member countries involved as the implementation progresses and the mutual benefits become more self-evident. While challenges are still there in accelerating land connectivity, expansion of air connectivity and greater utilization of inland waterways and the sea route must be carried out. Full advantage should also be taken to use the digital route. As for Bhutan and Assam, we have heard in the previous session that the Gelfu Mindfulness City, GMC, provides opportunity for mutual collaboration. We are deeply grateful to Prime Minister Modi ji for assuring full support to His Majesty King Jigme's visionary project. We are also deeply grateful to External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar for his support and encouragement. I believe that the GMC project and the Act East policy will have many complementary benefits for Bhutan and India. In conclusion, I would like to say that the topic of the session, Act East, Act Fast, Act First, reflects how serious India is about successfully implementing the Act East policy without any further delay. And the time is right to act fast. In Prime Minister Modi ji, we have a visionary and dynamic leader at the center to provide strong inspiration and support for this policy. In Assam, the main hub in India's northeast for the Act East policy, we have a very dynamic Chief Minister who will work very effectively on the ground to ensure the successful implementation of the Act East policy. We can look forward to a bright future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency, for your remarks. And let me now invite His Excellency Kiichi Ono, Ambassador of Japan to India, for his remarks on Assam and Japan relationship, but also Japan being one of the key members, key partners of India in the Northeast. How does he look at this relationship? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hunt. And first of all, to Honorable Chief Minister, thank you very much for organizing, hosting this event, and thank you very much for inviting me to this panel. And I'm very pleased and honored to be here with my distinguished colleagues, particularly with Honorable Minister Jaishankar. I'm very happy to be here. This is my second visit to Guwahati within just 3 weeks. And this is my second meeting with Honorable Chief Minister in 3 weeks' time. This shows how much Japan put importance on cooperation with Assam and this Northeast region. The title of this session, Act East, Act Fast, and Act First. This is particularly timely and very fitting. The very fact that such a session is being held here in Assam underscores the geopolitical importance of Guwahati, Assam as a gateway to Southeast Asia and also juncture between Japan's free and open Indo-Pacific policy and India's Act East policy. In 2007, about more than 15 years ago, then Prime Minister Abe, when he visited India, he introduced the concept that later became the foundation of the free and open Indo-Pacific. And some years later, former Prime Minister Kishida, here in India, he revealed the concept of industrial value chain of connecting the Bay of Bengal and the Northeast India. This industrial value chain strategy would cover this whole area, and it would cover 300 million people altogether. And under now Prime Minister Ishiba, Japan is continuing to proceed this free and open in the Pacific as India at the center. It's okay. To develop the Northeast region and realize the industrial value chain, is it better now? Okay, thank you. Let me continue. To develop this region, Northeast, and also realize the industrial value chain, I believe that important things are 3+1. 3 is 3 dimensions of connectivity, and 1 is industry. 3 dimensions of connectivity is hard connectivity, so infrastructure. And the second is soft connectivity, so more the facilitation and the harmonization of trade and investment system. And third is people-to-people connectivity. So let me say a few words about each item. First, hard connectivity. Japan has been supporting road infrastructure improvement projects in Northeast India. For example, under the Northeast Road Network Connectivity Improvement Project, we are constructing and improving the bridge and surrounding roads connecting Dhubri in Assam and Purubari in Meghalaya. Do you know how long now it takes to carry the goods? It will be about more than 11 hours, I heard. But it will be completed in 3 years' time. And once it's completed, then the journey will be reduced to only 23 minutes. So it will be, thank you. So we would like to continue to contribute to such a big jump from the present status to the improvement status. And also in Bangladesh, there is a Matabari Deep Sea Port project, and that will be also another connectivity connected to this area. Also, as my colleague ambassador stated, the GEREF, Mindfulness City Plan in Bhutan, that will also contribute to the prosperity of the entire region. This is the hard part. And the second is soft connectivity. Building industrial value chain requires more than just constructing roads, bridges, buildings, and railways. But we need to have the better border management capabilities and digitalizing procedures, and also establishing harmonized and common rules between the regions, between the states, and between the countries. So now I understand that Meghalaya opened an integrated checkpoint on the state border in Dauki, and a new ICP opened in Sabroom in Tripura. So we'd like to continue to work together on such a developing the soft connectivity in this region. And the third is people-to-people connectivity. It is the people who actually realize the real connectivity. Japan has invited many students and workers from this region, including Assam, to Japan by various schools. And now over 200 young people have gone to Japan. and they got splendid reputation by the Japanese business side. So we try to continue to work on that. And academic exchanges are also going on. IIT Guwahati has various agreements with the Japanese universities, so let's continue. And those three connectivities are very important. However, they do not complete the industrial value chain. We need the industry here. Today, in the earlier sessions, we had a lot of discussions about semiconductors, led by Tata. This is a very, very good, important symbol of developing this area. Many Japanese companies are interested, keen on joining this project. In Delhi, the Chamber of Commerce of Japan formulated a new task force committee focusing on semiconductor. They have more than 100 members. They had regular meetings with Tata and others. So we would like to join this great project of semiconductors in the state of Assam. And not just semiconductors, agriculture is also important. We have the commonality, like using the bamboo. This is a traditional culture of Japan. We are now developing a renewable plant by using the local bamboo. So I believe that this will also contribute to the state of Assam. So overall, Japan put a special focus and emphasis on this region. So we'd like to continue to work together with the state of Assam and other parts of the Northeast. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency, for drawing our attention to the very important role that connectivity plays, and particularly highlighting people-to-people connectivity, which I think goes a long way in shaping our attitudes towards each other. So we have had 4 excellent interventions by India's partners, how they look at Act East policy and what perhaps they would like to ensure that India and they do in partnership with each other. I have 2 interventions now, one from the industry and one from academia, if I may, to lend a more critical eye to what is happening perhaps. And let me invite Mr. Harshvardhan Agarwal, co-chair ASEAN India Business Council, President FICCI, for his remarks, and particularly I think highlighting the key sectors that can be prioritized as you look at ASEAN India economic partnership. Where do we tend to, where should we be putting the focus on? And as part of this enterprise Advantage Assam, what have been your views in terms of strengthening the sectors that you felt came out as an important learning from this exercise? Over to you, Harsh.
Thank you so much. I would like to start with congratulating the Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Hemanta Biswa, for the excellent, the Advantage Assam, the opening day for the edition 2. I think it has been an eye-opener for many of us who have come to Assam for this session. We always knew the potential of Assam, but when we are here, when we hear so many people talk about it, it really shows what are the areas where we can partner, what are the areas where business can come in, investment can come in, and ultimately partner with Assam. I think in terms of Asian countries, India and Asian has very strong bilateral ties. Apart from that, there are 5 or 6 priority areas, focus sectors, which we believe where we can work together for the future. One is the digital economy and innovation. I think that's a very important area where the thriving tech sector of India, how do we partner with the Asian countries, and how together we help the businesses and the consumers in the Asian neighboring countries as well. There is a lot of potential to partner there. Second is the manufacturing and the supply chain resilience. I think again, specifically in the area of electronics, in the area of semiconductors, there are so many things that we can do together, especially in today's geopolitical scenario. how do we partner and support each other so that as a region, businesses thrives. The third area which I see very, very important is the green energy and sustainability, where India in the area of renewable energy has leadership, and how we can work together with the Asian countries over there. Another area is the infrastructure and connectivity. I think the new India, Thailand and the Myanmar trilateral highway will be a game changer in terms of connectivity. Yes, that's the beginning, but yes, what more we can do in the area of port, air connectivity, etc., which will also help improve the trade. Apart from that, the healthcare and pharma is another sector where we can work together. India has shown its mettle to the world in the area of low-cost pharmaceutical medicines, generic medicines, as well as vaccines. So how can we partner with the Asian neighboring countries over there? Medical tourism, value medical tourism, again, has a huge potential for the neighboring countries. So these are the areas, various areas where India and the Asian countries needs to work together. In regard to the advantage Assam, I think the India's Act East policy, Northeast is a very, very important part of that policy. And from that perspective, today's gathering or event like this helps in people-to-people connect, where businesses, government officials, everybody come together, they interact, and ultimately that is how the investment will come, and that is how I think, it's a great beginning to a great momentum. If we can continue with this momentum, and how Assam can position itself as one of the, because of its strategic location for investment from the Asian neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you, Harsh. Let me now invite Professor Sachin Chaturvedi for his remarks. This will be the final intervention from the panel. And I would specifically ask him if he can talk about the trade aspect of the relationship and perhaps what more can be done in that regard. Sachin.
Thank you. Thanks, Harsh. Honorable Chief Minister, respected External Affairs Minister, dignitaries on the dais, off the dais. It's a great pleasure, Honorable Chief Minister, to be here with you. This idea of Act East, Fast and First is something which is very much reflective of the actions that you have initiated here. And these actions are speaking in terms of a lot of efforts of your own system here, your colleagues, and also yourself. I must congratulate you for being one of the first states here to establish the Act East Department. So Assam is the first state to have established this department, which is taking over the larger task forward. The 10 years of Act East policy now is getting fruitfully accomplished by India with leadership from Assam. So this is absolutely fascinating. It is also important to note how your own visits to Singapore, to South Korea, and to Japan have yielded the results that the nation is looking forward to. Also, Honorable Chief Minister, with your efforts, Tata has entered in, and we have the semiconductor production plant already. I also met Chairman of the Quantum Mission here, Ajay Chaudhary, and we discussed about possibility of investing in quantum in Assam. So this is also very fascinating. Also very important, Honorable Chief Minister, is the idea of expansion of the first airport under the Act East policy in Guwahati itself. So this is also first act in terms of how we are taking the Act East policy forward. Your idea of building narrative around the Om Kingdom and the cultural civilization is also an important effort, the strong basis for economic development for an inclusive society. So that is also, in my view, the Act East and Act Fast example in terms of how we go forward. The idea of Assam and Bhutan's partnership with the mindful city, the Galiblu that is being established by Bhutan, is something which is extremely important. Now let me come on the idea of act first. And this is where I want to establish this point that I'm on the board of the Reserve Bank from the eastern sector. I compare growth of all the eastern states, and I find how fast Assam has left West Bengal behind. Congratulations, Honorable Chief Minister. This is such an impressive growth you have established in Assam. The great percentage share, if I tell you, the growth of GSDP in Assam in 22-23 and 23-24 is something like 13.3%, while in West Bengal it is 7.7%. The expansion in employment in Assam has gone up by 9.8%, while the growth in West Bengal is only 2.4%. I'm also impressed with the gross value added. So, Honorable Chief Minister, some of us in economics believe that mere growth is not important. Important is how much value added is happening. And there again, I'm quite thrilled to see the numbers for 23-24. The share of agriculture, industry and services in West Bengal stands at 9.9, 30.2 and 44.1%. While in case of Assam, it stands at 11.7% against 9.9 of agriculture in Assam. I am also very impressed to see in industry, Assam has taken lead over West Bengal. In West Bengal, value addition is at 30%, and in Assam, it is at 42.6%. More efforts are required by Assam in services sector, since most of the banking services, NBFC, they are based in Kolkata. So you find that the services sector growth in West Bengal is at 44%, and in Assam, it is at 39%. So some efforts for services sector, particularly banking and finance, is leaded in Assam, and I think that would take that task forward. In terms of external trade, again, I am very happy to mention that, Honorable Chief Minister, the exports of Assam stand at $472 million, and you would be surprised to know that there are 138 countries to whom Assam has exported. 138 countries. And out of these 138 countries, there are 21 countries to which 76% of Assam's trade is going. So huge value chain, what Excellency Ambassador of Japan mentioned. The prospects for value chain addition are possible. Already External Affairs Ministry has announced BIMSTEC Summit's participation, which is happening in April. RIS was tasked by the Honorable Prime Minister to undertake a study on value chain among the BIMSTEC countries, and we find that there is huge scope for Assam to lead value chain with neighboring countries, and we very keenly look forward to that. I stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Chaturvedi, for making some of those points which I think were very important to be made here at this summit, and particularly in the context of the conversation that we were having with our external partners earlier. But I think we have come to a point now where it is a privilege and an honor to invite Dr. S. J. Shankar for his keynote address of the evening.
Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma ji, my ministerial colleague, Pavitra Margarita ji, Minister Patwari ji, very distinguished panel, Excellencies, delegates. It is a great blessing to be at the sacred land of Ma Kamakhya and to join you all today at Advantage Assam 2.0. The theme of this session is, as you heard, Act East, Act Fast, and Act First. Let me begin by congratulating the Chief Minister on an extremely well-organized event, excellent hospitality, and without exaggeration, a fantastic cultural performance yesterday. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of the heads of missions, foreign missions, 62 of them, as also a minister and his delegation from the Royal Government of Bhutan. Their participation is certainly reflective of the international interest in Assam and in our Act East policy. In this context, I would also like to recognize the efforts of our Secretary East, Jaideep Mazumdar, and the MEA team. Jaideep happens to be from Assam. But of course, finally, for this turnout, for the presence of so many of our ambassadors from Delhi, I think the credit rightly goes to the Chief Minister, to the state, the pull factor, and to the ambassadors for the interest that they have shown, and I hope they keep coming to Assam. So let me now turn to the theme of this session. It is conventional, orthodox, to talk of our Act East policy in purely foreign policy terms. This, to me, is not just a partial understanding, but actually a misplaced one. If we are indeed to act on this initiative, we must first begin by doing so within the country. Act East does not start beyond our borders. It begins with a change of mindset in Delhi. And indeed, that is where the difference has been in the last decade. Assam and all the northeastern states have seen the Modi government act fast and act first when it came to their development. Its evidence is in the nature of resources committed, the targeting of goals through specific initiatives, the quality of delivery, and indeed the very change in outlook. You all know how much interest Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has personally taken in the development of the Northeast, and how many times he has come to Assam. When ministers of the Modi government are continuously encouraged to visit the Northeast, when an occasion like the G20 sees meetings in every one of these states, I would suggest to you that something has changed profoundly. Other sessions have discussed this transformation underway in the Northeast and in Assam. My job is to highlight its foreign policy implications. But allow me to delve a little deeper into the domestic aspects of Act East before I do so. If one looks at the history of India, a broad generalization can be made that our most glorious periods were when the East was most prosperous. Unfortunately, this also made it a particular target for plundering and pillaging, which accompanied the arrival of Western powers to India. Not just that, as they gained increasing control, the very direction of India's external engagement changed. Resources shifted increasingly to the western coast, which faced Europe. So did connectivity. As a result, historical ports in the Bay of Bengal saw a decline, with the hinterland witnessing the related consequences. But it was not just the colonial period The partition also inflicted particular damage on the prospects of Assam and the Northeast. Their historical connectivity stood deeply disrupted, and it has been a challenge for Indian diplomacy to rebuild it. Friends, today, as India recovers and rejuvenates, it is logical that there should be a greater focus on the East. We are not only correcting past mistakes, but laying the foundation to explore new opportunities. And that is exactly what Prime Minister Modi seeks to do through the Purvodaya scheme that brings new energy and resources to infrastructure, employment, skilling, and development in these regions. It is only when the Northeast and the East realize their potential more fully that we can progress in our quest towards Viksit Bharat. Let us now look a little beyond, starting with our immediate neighbors. Here, the Neighborhood First policy since 2014 has made significant progress, whether it is Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, or Myanmar. We have seen new roads, checkpoints, rail links, waterways, power grids, fuel pipelines, and transit facilities. And there is much more to come in the days ahead. We saw a glimpse of that in the last session when there was a discussion on the Gelefu Mindfulness City. The result is that new opportunities have indeed opened up and greater levels of contacts and comfort have been built. This has truly been a win-win outcome that must be nurtured and must be taken forward. On its part, I want to say very clearly that India is fully prepared to do so. In fact, even these achievements have been enabled to a great degree by the fact that we pursue a generous and non-reciprocal policy towards bilateral and regional cooperation. If we recall the challenges of the COVID and then the fallout of the Ukraine conflict, India also acted fast and acted first in terms of vaccine supplies, flow of food grains, supply of fertilizers, and availability of fuel for its neighbors. For this foundation to be further built upon, it is crucial that our partners have an equally positive view of its prospects. There are neighbors who have fully leveraged the economic opportunities that the growth of India presents. We welcome that and believe that the track record since 2014 should set to rest any ambivalence. There is, however, a tendency in some quarters to see just problems rather than look for solutions. At the end of the day, regional growth requires a genuine and wholehearted commitment to cooperation. After all, it takes two hands to clap. The next set of partners for us are from the ASEAN. In the last 3 decades, we have mutually benefited from the deepening of ties in so many domains. Whether you take trade, investment, tourism, or even security, there has been steady progress with all members. Since our 2024 general elections alone, we have received the presidents of Indonesia and Singapore, as well as the prime ministers of Malaysia and Vietnam in India. Prime Minister Modi himself has gone to Singapore, Brunei, and Laos. And of course, the ASEAN platforms allow for regular meetings between us and its members at so many levels and dimensions. Our high expectation of this partnership is expressed in its elevation as a comprehensive strategic partnership in 2022. To realize them, however, some concrete steps need to be taken expeditiously. The review of the ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement, ITIGA, should not be further delayed. Smoother mobility arrangements can help give a fresh economic boost to this relationship. Opportunities in emerging areas like AI, semiconductors, green shipping, and green hydrogen can be actively pursued. We are glad to see that Malaysia and Thailand have liberalized visas for Indians, while other ASEAN members have also expanded air connectivity. Education and skills can be domains for future cooperation as well. The real game changer, however, and I'm very glad that our colleague from FICCI recognized that, the real game changer will be the completion of the India-Myanmar-Thailand Trilateral Highway, IMTT. Progress is currently challenged by the internal strife in Myanmar, but we cannot allow this to block something so momentous. Practical solutions will have to be found to ensure the advancement of this initiative. The bottom line is that a Southeast Asia that has a population, I think, of almost 700 million, half of India, and a GDP of about 4.25 trillion, which is a little larger than our own, is a partner of enormous consequence. We can be mutually supportive in our journey towards prosperity and progress. It is natural that any talk of acting east should focus on the Bay of Bengal. There has been heightened attention given to the BIMSTEC grouping in this context. In a way, BIMSTEC is where Act East meets Neighborhood First. We finalized its charter in 2022 and are currently preparing for the next summit very soon. Our plan is to expand its activities, create more centers of excellence, strengthen youth networking, address health challenges, and increase capacity building. I should also add that membership of the Mekong-Ganga Cooperation, MGC, and partnering with the Indonesia-Malaysia-Thailand Growth Triangle add additional texture to our engagement. The consolidation of India's ties with this region also encouraged us to be more ambitious in our ties with the Indo-Pacific. Both Japan and South Korea have emerged as significant economic players in a range of areas in India. Our objective is not only to deepen that, but to give the collaboration a more contemporary character. India's greater capabilities and talent also allow more mutually beneficial endeavors. Where Japan is concerned, I also specifically recognize the contribution to our Act East Forum, whereby development projects in the Northeast have been accorded priority by Japan. We are currently discussing significant enhancing of mobility and training in this relationship. I'm confident that Assam and other northeastern states will be beneficiaries. Friends, India's engagement eastwards today extends all the way to Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific. Australia merits particular mention because we are seeing benefits flow of the ECTA, the Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, as also a sharp increase in our political and security comfort levels. Mobility has been a notable feature of this relationship. Like with Japan, its Quad membership has been a supporting factor in our ties. Tomorrow, we have an unprecedented visit to India of the European Union Commission. We are glad today that the EU ambassador and ambassadors from EU are here with us. We will be discussing the Indo-Pacific with the EU Commission when they come. Remember, the Indo-Pacific came about because it is India's Act East policy that connected the Indian Ocean region with the Pacific. So, how could the world look at Assam? And indeed, the Northeast as a region. It will certainly note the steady improvement in infrastructure, connectivity, and skills level, which Dr. Chaturvedi also spoke about over the last decade. This makes it easier to do business, more attractive as well, and definitely much more mutually advantageous. These characteristics are strengthened by location. Assam and the Northeast are like a hub, with the rest of India, Nepal and Bhutan on one side, and Bangladesh, ASEAN and beyond on the other. Every step forward here will further strengthen that case. So friends, I ask you all to reflect on this. When we celebrate 200 years of Assam tea, when we inscribe Charaidev Moidam on the UNESCO World Heritage List, when a path-breaking investment is made in the semiconductor sphere, when quality educational and health institutions are established in this state, when the region's national parks gain acclaim, and indeed, and equally, much greater demands will be there, international demands will be there for our talents and services as AI, health, and other skill-centric domains take root. This is the vision that must drive our efforts. I'm convinced that Advantage Assam 2.0 will motivate us all in that direction. Once again, I thank the Chief Minister and the organizers for the opportunity to share my thoughts. Jai Bharat, Jai Hind, Jai Assam.
Policy, but also the centrality of Assam in the Northeast in that endeavor. As we were starting this process, we had a few questions that had come in. So, with your permission, we don't have much time, but we'll take 3 questions from the audience. I have a question directly for Dr. Jaishankar from Atreya Barua. Where is she? Yeah, I think she's there. Can we have the mic, please? A brief introduction and a quick question. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Atreya Barua Tekedat. I'm an entrepreneur in the technology sector based here in Guwahati. My question is to Dr. Jaishankar, sir. Sir, how does the government plan to balance the local developmental needs and the broader geopolitical interests in Northeast India? Thank you.
I don't see a contradiction there at all. In fact, I see one as a prerequisite for the other. Because just reflect on the note on which I ended, that if you have an Assam with a stronger infrastructure, with better connectivity, with a stronger human resources development, with better health, education, I think the ability of the local region, in this case Assam, to serve its own interests, to serve the interests of India, to become a bridge, to become a contributor, as the Chief Minister said, a contributor to India, but also a contributor of India to the world. So, look, India will develop when all the states of India will develop. And all states of India will develop only when there is regional, local development everywhere. And historically, it is a fact that, till a decade ago, this region did not get the attention and the resources that was its due. That has been the big change. So I'm very sure that, in the coming years, as we do further versions of Advantage Assam, there will be a better and better story here to tell.
Thank you, sir. I have Dr. Samudragupta Kashyap, and his question is for Excellency Wong.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Heartiest congratulations to our most dynamic Chief Minister for making something like this to happen today. And our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Jaishankar for bringing such a large gathering, never before gathering to Guwahati. My question to Dr. Wong is, Singapore is a key pillar to India's Act East policy and vision of the Indo-Pacific. Congratulations, sir, for identifying Assam as a new area of growth and for identifying Assam with the letter A. We have already earlier said that Singapore sees great opportunities in the multimodal logistics parks at Jogighopa. Can you kindly, sir, tell us which key areas in Assam have you drawn particular attention of yours?
Thank you, sir, for your question. Me and my delegation came one day earlier because we have heard so much about the new developments in Assam. In particular, my brother, Ambassador Namgay here, has spoken to me about the Galafu Gochi-Gopal Connect. So me and my colleagues spent an afternoon looking at the new projects that's underway in Lower Assam. Although our plans is to really work on Guwahati and the new downtown. We are more urban planners in a sense. But after looking at the project per se on your inland water transport new terminal, which is 100 meters in length, your new MMLP, which is the logistic park, connected via NH17 to NH27, plus new train lines coming in, and the new connect to Dubri Port down in northern Brahmaputra. For someone who, a company in Singapore who is in touch with logistics and how you gather force, it is a tremendous connect between, in a small way I would say, Singapore, Assam, and Galafu. So this is a brand new idea. I heard from my colleague who is seated down here, Honorable Minister Yotin, and Ambassador Jonathan To, 2 hours ago, your exposition about the Galafu project. We are we are very, very interested, sir. I think it's baby steps, but I think there is, from a business point of view, there is a lot to be gained harnessing the SEZ, proposed SEZ in Assam and the proposed SAR in Galafu. So I'm very, very hopeful. Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you. And the final question from Raki Kalita Moral for His Excellency Ono. Raki?
Good evening and greetings from Assam to such an impressive gallery of global leaders and heads of mission. My question is to His Excellency Mr. Keiichi Ono, Ambassador of Japan. Ambassador, you mentioned that in terms of the people-to-people connectivity, the three-tier connectivity that you mentioned, you said that you envision soft power exchanges and more reciprocal relationships between youth and academia of our two powers, which will bring Assam and Japan partnerships closer. So my question to you, Ambassador, is to what extent do you think Japan's ancient cultural wisdoms can also help create new synergies in Northeast India and Assam's own spiritual journeys that have shared Buddhist legacies and then deepen and strengthen our mutual connections and your move eastward to Assam? Thank you.
Thank you very much for asking me about the people's ties between Japan and Assam, the Northeast, or India on the whole, from the ancient perspective to the cultural or youth exchanges. Perhaps I should have used the word, cultural connectivity as well. We have so many things in common. As regards, for example, the culture, of course, Japan received so many cultural influence from India. If you visit Japan, then you would be surprised to see many pictures of Ganesha in town in Japan, or so many pictures of Sarasvati in Japan. Sarasvati now turns to the Japanese goddess of fortune. So they believe that Sarasvati would bring the fortune to the Japanese society. But not that just like such ancient or the real cultural ties. I believe that we have commonalities like this. The Japanese automotive company Toyota, for example, they have the training institute in some states in India. And their motto is to train the students by the comprehensive way of three things. Shin, Gi, Tai in Japanese. Shin means soul or mind. Gi means technique. And Tai means body. So the youth should be trained by all the three dimensions. So soul, mind, technique, and body. That's what the Japanese company believes, and also more generally the Japanese people believe. And I believe that that is common in India as well. So not just ancient culture, Buddhism, Hinduism, but we have so many commonalities. So we are aiming at, of course, prosperity or development, but not just the economic development or prosperity. It should be together with a kind of sound minds and people's matured prosperity. The important thing is now, getting back to your question, then how to improve or how to have such cultural people-to-people connectivities. I believe that we need more and more people exchanges between Japan and this region, including Assam, of course. I stress the importance of industry and particularly the semiconductor things. I believe that this would lead to the drastic increase of the people's exchanges. Many probably business people visiting here from Japan to Assam, and also from Assam and Northeast region to Japan. And also cultural aspect as well. I visited Nagaland last November for the Hornbill Festival. I was so surprised to see many youngsters in these regions. You know, they're great fan of Japanese anime or the manga and the pop cultures. So I believe that those things would accelerate, facilitate our peoples and people exchanges, and that will lead to stronger relations between Japan and the Northeast. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. With this, we come to the end of this session. Spiritual and cultural connectivity is always a good topic to end a conversation like this on. Before I hand back the mic to the MC, I will just, on my behalf as well, congratulate the Honorable Chief Minister for this excellent initiative. And as India marches ahead towards the $10 trillion economy, Assam will certainly be at the center of its engagement with its Act East policy. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Well, that was indeed a most insightful session, both in terms of learnings and action steps going forward. Thank you all for your kind participation. Now, on behalf of the organizers, we would like to present a memento to Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable External Affairs Minister, Government of India. I would request Honorable Chief Minister, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, to kindly present it to him. Thank you so much. I now request all present to kindly rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you. I would now request our esteemed guests on the dais to kindly step forward for a group photograph which will preserve the memory of this event. I would also request only the heads of missions to kindly come up for the photograph. Only the heads of mission. I would request you all to kindly come forward for the group photograph. I'd request only the heads of missions to kindly come up for the group photograph.